Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Alan. Today we're doing a bonus lesson on walking bass lines. My last lesson was about chord melodies, and I was using walking bass lines as a sort of as a tool. So in this lesson, I'm just going to break it down very simplistically. So before we get started, we got to talk about the three principles to walking bass lines. The first one is keeping time, knowing your structure. For a walking bass line, every single beat that you play, you'll be playing something related to the structure of the chords or the actual chord itself. The second part is outlining your chords, which with guitar it could be difficult with the number of chords you have to do, but it's beneficial. And then finally, chromaticism, which I'll get to here in a bit. But with chromaticism, it really builds a relationship between all the chords. It's kind of the glue to it. So our example is going to be Autumn Leaves. Our chords are A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp flat 5, B7, E minor 9. So we're going to basically write a line that glues all those chords together. So let's talk about the first two chords, our A minor 7 and our D7. First, we got to keep time and know what's actually happening. So in Autumn Leaves, what's really easy about it is every measure is 4 beats, and every measure only has one chord. At least in this example that we're doing. So our A minor 7 has 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. Now we know our time, so the next thing is to outline our chords. So starting with our first chord, this A minor 7, our notes are our root, A, third is C, our fifth is E, our seventh would be G. Sometimes we use our seventh, sometimes we don't. It really depends where we're at. But a lot of times you'll do your first, your third, and your fifth note. So A, C, E. Our beats are 1, 2, 3. The skip beat 4 for now. The next chord is our D7. So our next target note, besides the fourth beat, is this D. So we have to build this chromatic relationship. And the way we do that, we think of our target note, which is this D. And chromatically, we have to think it's either going to be an E flat or a D flat, a half step above or a half step below our target note. So going back on the example that we have, A, C, E, E flat, D. So we landed on this D, our target note, with an E flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we already moved on with the next sequence of chords. But before we go on, let's talk about adding chords while we're at it. So a really simplistic way of doing it is whatever your root is, think of that's where you start your chord. So for example, going back to the first chord, this A minor 7th, you can start on the root like that. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's really simple. It's really just figuring out your chord structure and knowing what your time signature is and every other principle that I listed earlier. So going back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's a very simplistic way, but it's a simplistic way of doing these walking bass lines. But it is time consuming if you're not used to it because you have to do so much analyzing. But the more you do it, the easier it gets to analyzing your chords, your structures, your intervals too. So let's do the whole thing together. So I'm going to stop on that F sharp 7 right there. Going back to the beginning. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I stopped on the F sharp flat 5 is when you start getting into the diminished stuff, no matter what, this is still going to work, these principles. So R1, second beat, third beat, fourth beat. So when you do it slowly, it does sound very dissonant, but just keep those principles going. Knowing your time, making sure you know how many beats are in a measure, number of beats that the chord gets, outlining your chords, knowing your chord tones, and chromaticism, knowing the appropriate time to do chromaticism. So again, this stuff's pretty fun, whether you want to do it with chord melodies or let's say you're doing a solo gig and you have a guest, whether the guest is a singer, a saxophone player. It really spices up your rhythm and it really helps you analyze your fretboard a lot more. Instead of just getting used to shapes, you start to really think about notes and intervals. Yeah, it's a very simple lesson, guys. I just wanted to give this out just to kind of supplement the last lesson I did. If you have any questions, please email me, guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day. Thank you.